Dan. Here you go.
Hey guys, it's me, Tyler. Today we're reviewing Drowning in Potential. Drowning in Potential is a budgetless, unscripted, entirely improvised feature film shot by Joel Haver and Dax Flame over the course of about 2 weeks. The film follows Dan Robinson, a socially awkward dreamer, as he struggles to make a name for himself and figure out what he wants to do with his life. One of the things I really like about this movie is the way that Dan, the main character, is portrayed. Dan comes across as very awkward and socially inept, essentially. He has a hard time keeping a sentence going. It feels very, very thought through, the way that he says things.
Talk to me about philosophy. What is philosophy of an actor?
Believing in yourself, trusting, going with your first instinct, trusting yourself, sharing my talent, escaping into the role, helping, listening is the most important thing, I think. Trusting the process, helping to bring...
Okay. No.
I also like the way that Joel and Dax tried to help visualize Dan's internal dialogue of the world around him. There are 2 ways that they use to show how Dan is thinking about these things throughout the movie. There's the cooler Dan, or that's what I call him at least, who is essentially what Dan wants to be, or how he imagines himself if he was better. But even the cooler Dan is still really awkward. He kind of, it's like he can't imagine himself being any other way than that, or he doesn't physically notice that he is that awkward.
Like, it's not my responsibility to explain it to you. If you don't get art, that's your problem. My problem. Okay. If you don't make... If you don't make the art... never mind.
The second way that he uses to kind of summarize things that happened in the day is something I like to call the Noir Zone. What the Noir Zone kind of does for Dan, it seems like this is his recap. This is his way of thinking about things that happened to him. There's a scene where Dan comes in for a casting callback to try out for a certain role in, I don't know, a movie or a play or something, but an acting role. And he is going up against another guy who has an agent and objectively looks better for the part. In the Noir Zone, that same actor is pictured, like he imagines him telling him that he's not essentially good enough to be an actor or do this thing. It really shows how Dan thinks about things in this world. It gives you an insight of how he feels at any given moment, or of how he deals with certain things in his life.
Hey kid, can't win them all. There's winners and there's losers. And there needs to be losers so guys like me can win. But you gotta pick yourself back up and get back on that pony. Maybe not this particular one, because you were just dealt a terrible hand from the start, genetically and everything. I would try something maybe more like radio host. I'm not sure if they'd like your personality too much, but maybe like art.
This movie also has a lot of empty space where there's no dialogue at all. And in a sort of way, it kind of makes you feel immersed in what's going on, because you yourself are probably just sitting there quietly watching the movie as well. And then they get quiet, and you're all just sitting there in this quiet. It's really quite an odd feeling, just sitting there with them. Another thing you'll notice if you watch the entire movie is that the opening shot and the ending shot are the same, right? I think what this does is lets you see how the characters are different from the beginning. Mainly in the way I've noticed at the beginning, Dan is very timid, very unsure of himself. And then towards the end, he still seems timid and in a way still awkward, but he definitely seems more confident in a way in what he's doing. I think one thing that Dax does really well is portrays how hopeless Dan feels, but then at the same time how desperate he is to find his place, figure out what he wants to do. Throughout the movie, a lot of the time that Dan is alone, he has conversations with the cooler Dan. Cooler Dan appears to be pictured as the future Dan, essentially the successful Dan. A lot of the times, the things that he is talking with real Dan about, he frames it in the sense that he's already done this. It's like, oh, I remember that. There's a lot of memories from that. I remember this. That's interesting. But the way he says things, it always comes across as very demeaning or just outright hurtful towards himself.
I remember living in this shithole. Kind of cute though. Good memories. Some good memories.
I see in you. Oh, let me guess. One? Are you tell me one?
Watching this again? What was this one? It's a classic. Not like a good classic, like a so bad it's good classic. Something to laugh at. What are you supposed to be like, 17? How old are you? Is there anything else on?
You did this? Yeah. I don't get it. What? I don't get it.
What I'd say might be different about this movie is it doesn't follow the regular story arc. It doesn't have like a rising story and then a climax and a resolution. It kind of stays at a very straight, mellow tone throughout the entire thing. It also doesn't really have a conclusion. I think that this was very deliberate in their choice because the resolution is sort of a cliffhanger in a way, because Dan is seen filming another self-tape with his friend John, which parallels the first scene of the movie. So they kind of return to the beginning anyways. It feels like there's no resolution, and it's because there isn't. It feels more like life that way. You know, in imaginary stories, the story ends, everybody's together, the hero defeats the villain and saves the day. But in real life, after that happens, you just go back to normal life. That's what you do. There's no end in the same way that there is in regular movies. Because after you slay the dragon, after you save the day, once you're done with your journey, you just go back home because you still have the rest of your life to live. This portrays that in a very good way, because even as the movie's ending, they're still continuing the story in the exact same way that it started. I really resonated with this movie. It portrays a lot of the things that I go through, mainly because I'm still in the process of figuring out what I want to do. I have a few ideas of what I want to do, like Dan does, but I haven't figured out what exactly I want to do. Or if I make a choice, will I enjoy that later down the line? I can't be sure, so I have to just choose, but then which one do I choose? It really feels like a story that I'm living through, which is one of the reasons why I love this movie. Link will be in the description to this. I think that it would be a good watch, although it might be a little hard for some people to watch, because if you cringe really easily, I don't think that this would be a very easy watch for you. I think that it would be quite difficult for you to watch this, because there's a lot of empty space, no dialogue, and the main character has quite a hard time communicating with other people. I've been gone for a while. I have other stuff to do, but when I can, I do my best to try and get videos out. If you like this video, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see all of you in the next video. Bye.